Hi and good evening. My name is David, and we are playing today another another session of Wanderhome. Wanderhome is a game by J Dragon about animal folk going on journeys together through the land of Heath. We've already discussed we're sort of fairly far through this current run of the game, and we've discussed the game itself a bit further in earlier episodes. So do check those out if you haven't yet. This game is organised as part of the Gauntlet, which is an online role-playing group where we get together and play games like this one. We have an online calendar where you can sign up for games. You can check that out, as well as the podcasts that we present, and our gaming magazine and a number of other games that we publish. You can find information on all of that stuff at gauntlet-rpg.com. There'll be a link to that down below. So last time we visited a new town, the sprawling metropolis of Clifton, where we got caught up in the mystery of the night goat of Vermilion Street. And other various hijinks. So today we'll be both starting a new festival and visiting a new place. So that's kind of our goals for today, as it were. But first of all, I will ask everyone to introduce themselves and their characters, as well as a little bit about what happened last time we were all together. So I'm going to start off. I'll start off with you, Jose. I realize obviously you weren't here last time, but if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your character.
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name's Jose, and my pronouns are he and him. And my character is Barnaby, the caretaker, also pronouns he and him. Barnaby is an otter, and he has a little menagerie of lost and forgotten gods that live with him on his person. He was not with the gang last time, obviously off on some adventure of his own, which maybe will be revealed as the session proceeds. I don't know. Yeah, that's all. I'll stop there.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you very much. And next, Nathan, if you'd like to introduce yourself and Gus.
Yeah, I'm Nathan, he, him pronouns, and I'm playing Gus, the donkey, who is a peddler. He's a business donkey, selling all manner of wares in Clifton. He spent a decent amount of time being very worried about the gossip in town about this night goat and what this night goat might be up to, and the threat that it might pose to his massive beetle atlas laden with goods, and also barking up the wrong tree in terms of like who he thought the nefarious doers might be, or what the nature of the whole thing might be. Basically being a little bit paranoid the whole time, and without much cause.
Brilliant, thank you very much. And Brandon.
He, they, Remi, same, is a spoonbill who danced their way into, for the first time in their life, crime, solving a mystery, and being in a theatrical performance, all with the same series of events. So that's what Remi got up to last time in the hot city.
Brilliant, thank you very much. And yeah, as I already said, my name is David. I use he and pronouns, and I will be playing Quoth, the poet, who is a rook currently engaged in researching a book on the nameless godslayer who wielded the heaven's blade, and the slumbering god driven by a desire to understand and empathize who they slew. That's the word. So yeah, that's last time we saw Quoth, he was beginning to try and get some information about the crimes of the night goat and documenting those in a series of ballads. So yeah, where we will start off today, we'll sort of go through our usual beginning of session stuff. So we will introduce a new place. We will go through our new festival, and then we'll kind of decide how things kick off and how we got here. So first of all, we will be going to our new place, which I did create a new tab for. So yeah, as ever, we will be selecting three natures for this place. As ever, you can either do this by rolling randomly or by choosing. And I think today we will go in reverse character keeper order, I think, starting with Brandon. If you would like to select our first nature for this new place.
Oh, sure. Okay. No, we just did that. Decide for me again. D6. Just not that. A sprawling furnace.
Ooh, interesting.
Or a furnace, rather.
Yes, that's cool. Perfect. Thank you very much. And Nathan, if you'd like to get our next nature.
Looking over here. I'll pick a hillock from the verdant natures.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And yeah, Jose, if you'd like to pick our last nature.
Sorry, I was muted. I think I'll pick a Hallow. I don't think we've done that one before.
Cool. Perfect. Thank you. So I think I'm going to pick our first. So now we'll go around again. So we'll just keep going around, but picking either aesthetic elements or folklore. And I think I'm going to, for the hillock, I'm going to pick strange piles of stones. So yeah, Brandon, if you'd like to pick the next, again, either an aesthetic element for one of the natures or a piece of folklore.
An imaginative apprentice still learning the craft.
Nice, nice. And Nathan, if you'd like to pick the next one.
Yeah. Let's see here. Mhm. 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 Do, 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 do. We'll go with back and forth. All right, I'm just going to choose this one. For the hillock, I am choosing Scattered Fragments of Civilization.
Awesome. Thank you. Jose, if you'd like to pick the
Sure.
next one.
I think for the Hallow, I'll choose Watchful Eyes in the Shadows as an aesthetic element.
Nice, nice. I'm going to I'm going to go for also for the Hallow. I'm going to go for the 15 sleeping gods as a piece of folklore. Brandon, if you'd like to pick our next one.
For the hillock, the fallen star and the stories she told. Folklore.
Cool, thank you very much. And yeah, Nathan, back round to you.
Yeah. Let's see, we've got Watchful Eyes in the Shadows. To the Hallow, I'm gonna pick the Old Sturdy Caretaker Priest. Hallow.
And for the Furnace, I think I'll choose for the Folklore, the Heaven Blade and its construction. Should get a certain rook's attention.
Excellent, excellent. Then I will pick our last aesthetic element for the furnace, which will be I like that. We're going to go with ornate glassworks.
I was hoping you'd pick that.
Excellent. Cool. So what we'll do now is, again, we'll pick a couple of animal folk that can commonly be found here. as well as any forgotten gods which we think may be in this place. So yeah, as I say, feel free to chime in with those just as and when you think of them. In terms of like the place we're looking at here, I'm seeing, yeah, obviously some kind of forge, glassworks type operation going on, but otherwise seeming like a more remote location than we've been in the last couple of sessions. But as I say, feel free to jump in with any thoughts you have on animal folk or gods.
Thinking about forgotten gods, what this kind of called to mind to me was maybe like a, if religion were to play a role in some of the like prior wars that were not so distant from. This could have been a place that previously forged weapons and now is like a glasswork. So there was a religious order then, or is now. So forgotten being like god, like sharp tools or something like that. So like weapons or things used to make them.
Awesome.
Or like little fragments. I like fragments, like little sword hilts or stuff like that, like busted pieces of weapon.
For some reason, I'm just thinking about snakes right now.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
what kinds of snakes, but there are snakes in the Hallow. I think we can just leave it generic snakes.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm wondering, maybe there are some mole folk who live in the area. Moles seem like people that would be in a hilly forge of some kind.
And if it's not too bug-like, maybe some sort of like shelled crab, like hermit crab type.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. That sounds good.
And I don't know, I want there to be birds, so I will add magpies to the common animal folk.
Cool. I was just thinking, I really like the idea of hermit crabs with like really ornate stained glass, houses essentially.
That's definitely what I was thinking. And then with maybe some of the, I forget what you call it. Is it leading in between? It's
Yeah,
like made
yeah.
of like little bits of broken sword and whatnot.
Yeah.
Or stuck to the outside. I was trying to remember, there's some animal I can remember that can like, there's some sort of insect that like makes like a little home out of like something it like fuses together or like sticks, and it kind of ends up half transparent, but I couldn't remember their name.
Yeah. Awesome. But yeah, I think that's a good starter for us. does anyone have an immediate thought for a name for our place? If not, we can come back to it in a little bit. That's cool. I think, yeah, nothing's immediately leaping out to me, but we'll come up with something shortly, I'm sure.
I might have to type this out.
Oh yeah,
this
go
seems
for
like
it.
a name, either as a proper noun. Using sort of that old form of the word old.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Auldbarrow Forge.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Auldbarrow Forge.
Auldbarrow Glassworks now, maybe.
Yeah. Although, yeah, I quite like Auldbarrow Forge. It just has a kind of awesome. So yeah, now we will do
Maybe it's like one of those place names that, like, it used to be more of a forge when weapons were what's, its function, right? And even though now it makes more glass after the war, the old name sticks around, right?
yeah, absolutely. Awesome. So yeah, our next trumpets in the right place, close to the right place. So yeah, the next thing we'll be doing is yeah. So the Day of Song is our new festival. This will be taking place as we arrive in Auldbarrow Forge. So the Day of Song ushers away Bright and welcomes in Breathe, and is remembered by the endless music in the air. So this works in a very similar way to the last festival we did. So there are two traditions in this place that don't take place, but everything else happens off of this list. And the list that we have, I will go through them. An elaborate orchestral performance, an amateur talent show, historical reenactments, dancing and singing long into the night, a few songs everyone seems to know, a special drink served only during this holiday, and everyone going swimming. So between us, we just got to think two of the traditions that don't take place here in Auldbarrow Forge, but everything else will do.
Elaborate orchestral performance seems out of place for this place.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It seems like a more remote place, perhaps slightly less sophisticated than some of the places we visited.
And I like, I'm imagining music, and probably during a festival time, especially if not regularly, and I think we had on our visual like some ruins of the past and stuff like that. So I'm imagining a place that maybe was larger, and around it there would be kind of like a tent city or maybe just small constructed buildings of like traders, and it becomes a hub because it's a mercantile thing with food.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. I'm wondering if the second one that we don't have is historical reenactments, just because obviously there's been this kind of break in tradition with kind of moving away from the manufacture of weapons and the like. So I'm wondering if maybe there is that conscious break with tradition, but I'm also open to any other suggestions people might have.
No, that one seems good to me to remove.
Something that's there, but that they're not looking at, where other places might, even if it was something they didn't do, might, have some kind of reenactments to talk about the past that they don't repeat, or the more serious aspect. They're like, we're keeping it light for the day of song.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, awesome. That means that the things that we do have going on for the day of song are an amateur talent show, dancing and singing along into the night, a few songs everyone seems to know, a special drink served only during this holiday, and everyone going swimming. So yeah, those are our kind of like I said, seems like a very a fairly raucous celebratory type festival, this one definitely. Awesome. So during the Sun Parade, everyone can always do any of the following 3 actions. You can get a token whenever you take some time to listen to the music and describe how it makes you feel. You can spend a token to sing or make music from the heart, or you can practice a song with someone. So you can always do one of those things. As I said, the first and second will either gain you or cost you a token, respectively. The third one you can just do at any point. So with that said, we'll go into our usual kind of beginning of session questions. So what sort of place did we just travel from? So again, I'll do my sort of usual and listen phrases as, did we come straight here from Clifton, or have we had kind of some other ports of call on the way?
If this is a kind of a crossroads at a day of festival, I would want to say that Barnaby is meeting the other 3 characters here. So this is where the reunion happens. It's easy to say at that festival at such and such crossroads is a great place to meet. So I can imagine Barnaby coming in since he's been separated from the group.
Yeah, no, that sounds awesome. So yeah, I think that's probably kind of the most important thing I think about our gathering here is we have collectively been on slightly different paths to get here. Do we feel like our journey has been long to get here? Do we think there's been a great period of time between now and when we're in Clifton, or do we think it's fairly close on the heels of that?
I feel like it's been long just because this place feels like it's fairly remote, whereas Clifton felt like it was, a fairly teeming place. And I feel like it's been a long transition from that to here, and maybe like switch back. It says hillock, but I feel like we're in those like mountain lowlands, and it's been a while to get to the mountains from the seaside.
Yeah, no, that sounds cool. I like that. And our last question, well, a penultimate question, I suppose, is there somewhere that we hope to go? Do we have any onward plans from here? Is this the kind of the destination that we want to be at? I think speaking personally from Quoth's perspective, as already been mentioned, as this is where it's rumored that the Heaven's Blade was forged. I think Quoth is definitely interested in being here. It's definitely a place he wanted to visit. But yeah, what does everyone else think?
I feel like this is a place we intended to go. Like, this is the destination. I've actually, like, as we've been describing it, it's felt like more of a, not in a bad way, but more of a dead end, like the place at the end of a road than a crossroad. I don't know, there's like a hermitage feeling to it. My mind.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
It strikes me as if there's something here that would draw each of our characters. You already said what would draw Quoth. I think the gathering of the crossroads or wherever it might be would draw Gus. The Hallow would draw Barnaby, and the music and song might draw Remi to dance.
I feel like with the furnace here and the being at the foot of mountains, that maybe there's a hot springs here too, or something of that nature.
Yeah, that's cool, and that ties in nicely with the like communal swimming aspect of the festival. And I'll never turn down a hot springs episode. So that's.
Well, I feel like yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, as we put this place together, it's like I think this is at least for Gus. Gus is coming here with the intent of not doing business, of a vacation, of relaxing. A rare, he's thinking of how many years it's been since he went to a place and didn't, allow himself to be off the clock, and it's been a long time. He can't actually remember.
Awesome.
We'll see how well he does.
Yep.
With his intention.
Perfect. Awesome, thank you. And our last question, which we all answer silently in our own heads, is: will I someday find a home? Excellent. So let's begin our visit to Auldbarrow Forge. I think maybe, yeah, we so I was just checking something. Yeah, I think.
Or the hillock.
Oh, I think.
What's that? Did I hear something? I thought I heard a half of something what someone said about like the hillock or something. I just didn't catch whatever someone was saying.
Oh, sorry. I was saying that the hillock says when we arrive there, we decide on a rule that we all must follow.
Oh, cool. Thank you for pointing that out. I'd missed that.
Where do you see that, Brandon? I'm missing it.
In the description. Oh, Hallow. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's in the Hallow.
My apologies.
There you go. Oh, I see it now. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
Makes me think it's like something, at least something somewhat related to those eyes that are watching from the shadows.
Yeah.
Or is it like?
I don't know if we like this almost feels not creepy, but when I was looking in the options, one of the ones that was an aesthetic element was like, I think it was something like an old mask or a broken mask or something. I don't feel like the vibe is right for like everybody's got to wear masks. That doesn't feel like the thing. Do you have to, is it like a good luck, like ward off not the evil eye, but does everyone have to wear like little bits of mirror to protect from the watchful eyes, or the watchful eyes like more benevolent?
I'm wondering, I feel like I want it to be something a bit more active than that, just to, or just to so
behavior.
Yeah, exactly. Just so that the moves have a bit more bite.
Absolutely.
I have an idea. this isn't quite in the visual, it's more in the auditory, but maybe I could put it into the visual so that it would work with the watchful eyes. But I want to say, like everyone during the festival, at some point in the Hallow has to reveal a secret to the eyes. Or yeah, so that could be visual, or reveal a secret something, or reveal a secret. I guess they could do it with their voice as well, or through their song. I guess an offering to the eyes. They want to see something. That's not
Maybe you
normally
have
seen.
to tell. Maybe you have to tell the old sturdy caretaker priest or their ilk, whatever dreams you have at night. Since those 15 sleeping gods are like a bit of folklore from here, maybe there's a greater weight placed on dreams.
Oh, and do you think it's because we want to keep the sleeping gods asleep? It's important to keep them asleep, and we feed them our dreams.
What was popping into my head was that there's like maybe a tradition that, like, you know, some of the dreams that people here are the dreams that the sleeping gods are having.
Oh, that's cool. So they could be prophetic or super.
But again, that's
in some way. Yeah.
that may not be as active.
Yeah, I'm wondering if taking it like taking that idea and just like modifying a bit again, yeah, just to play more into the moves. If it's maybe something like when the caretaker priests ask you a question, you have to answer truthfully.
Oh, I wasn't looking at those moves to see what you were. Okay, I'm getting what you're saying now.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, that you cannot. Yeah, you must be honest when they're talking to the priest or their, you know, fellows.
Yeah.
And you have to answer. You also can't just like decline to answer. Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, I think as we approach Auldbarrow Forge, I like the idea that maybe darkness has already started to fall. So we kind of get those like occasional like glints of eyes reflecting out of the darkness as we're coming up the path to the village. But I think as we get close to it, it's like really bright with like big bonfires and you know the forges themselves blasting out heat and light. So there's that kind of real sort of transition from the kind of twilight of sort of coming up the paths to it coming into this like big circle of this big circle of like light and warmth, sort of nestled in like the in the hills.
I think from both the hot springs and the furnace, so like there's very inviting billows of like smoke and cloud that seem sort of like swaddling the town in sort of an inviting cloud.
Misty warmth.
And I added one more forgotten god to the list because I like the overlap that was wisps of steam or cloud are like forgotten gods here that just have, either short lives or only are visible briefly, but that there's lots of sort of pareidolia when you're looking at steam, where it seems like you could see something like a face as it kind of like drifts for a moment, and you can kind of like catch lots of figure like images as these clouds and waves of steam rise into the air.
What's Remi see as they arrive in this scene?
Music,
Music.
probably. It's this, with the smell of cooked festival foods and frying pots of oil on the breeze, which Remy's always one for a sweet. But will be most immediately drawn into the tangle of colorful tents by just the music and the sound of dancing. There's probably in this place, make even ground, there's like some stages in areas set up, and you can hear the sound of like heavy shoes on the boards in rhythmic fashion from probably pretty far off.
I think Barnaby, when you come across him, is at one of those stages, and there is a troop of 3 wolves singing a drinking song there, and they're looking like they're having so much fun. And as they sing their drinking song, I think the way it makes Barnaby feel is wistful for Tal and his wolf friend, who he hasn't seen in a long time. And so he's kind of feeling nostalgic for Tal, but also realizing that Tal would never sing a drinking song like this one in his life. And so that somehow he's getting away with something by getting to see another side of the wolf clan. Oh, and I think I may have made a move. Is that one of the festival moves? I think when I listen to a song, do I have to pay? I can't remember. Oh,
gain a token.
Oh, gain a token.
When you describe listening to a song and how it makes you feel. Do I have that right?
Yeah. Okay, so I gain a token. Got it.
What's the dang, I'm failing at words today. What's the sort of like thrust of their drinking song, Like they always have a theme.
Yes, this one's
kind.
A body theme of 3 wolves who are all trying to court the same other wolf. And it's kind of a comedy of errors kind of drinking song where they all make mistakes and all get rejected.
Sure. Every
but
wolf,
in a good nature way.
Yeah. Misunderstands what the person is asking for.
Exactly.
It's the wrong thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the next wolf boasts about they'll do it right. And then they don't.
And everyone laughs uproariously at the farce of it all.
There's lots of, I think since this is a wolf song too, there's like lots of laughter that escalates into like howling. There's a lot of wolf style howling built into the song. Oh, to almost like Tex Avery levels whenever this object of attraction appears within the song. Big a woo moment.
Nice. Yeah. I think as we come across Barnaby, Quoth is going to kind of scurry up to him and say, Barnaby, how have you been? How have your travels been? Have you seen anything exciting? Been up to any adventures? Any other news you have to report?
Quoth, you've arrived. Yay. And he turns around and sees Remi and Gus and Atlas the beetle. Everyone and waves. It's been so much fun here. What have I done? I have wandered. I've wandered in places, quiet places, small, hidden places. Nothing dramatic that you would want to write about, both, but all things small and hidden. It's been good to be quiet and alone for a while. But it's lovely to be here in all these festivities, and I'm so glad my friends have arrived to join in them with me.
I'm sorry.
Go for it.
I was going to ask if Barnaby still has all the same small gods, right? If any of them were deposited in the interlude.
Oh, that's right. I don't think maybe I have deposited one or two. That's a good question. I think I'll keep them for now, since I haven't gotten to really play with all of them just yet.
Totally.
But yeah, so I can imagine that the rowdiest of them are the little family of sapling gods, Joe and Sam and Bob, who are out dancing on the stage with the bears and trying not to get trampled. But yeah, they always know where the party's at. I think that's one of their abilities, is to always know where the best party is at. So that's how I got to this stage, because they led me here.
They found you in those quiet places and they're like, oh, this place, I know what you need after this place. You need to come with us.
Yeah, Barnaby, I think, gets led around by these gods more than he leads them around.
More like the sober friend on a night out. A bunch of some rowdy, small, and forgotten gods just running around. Where's the party?
Where's the party? Come on, Barnaby.
Okay.
Yeah, Barnaby's always game. That's his thing. He's always game.
Speaking of, did your trio of saplings find what's best to drink?
Oh yes, maybe they did. There's a special beverage. I think it's made from a flower, like it's some kind of yeah, it's made from some kind of honeysuckle, and it is very, very strong. So you can only have a little bit about it. So everyone drinks it out of these tiny little cups, since it's harvested from flowers, by bees, maybe, somehow, because that's right. Insects are always the kind of herd animals here, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's harvested by bees and then made into some kind of special, I guess it's a kind of mead or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, honeysuckle mead sounds.
Honeysuckle mead, yeah. But very potent, more than you would imagine, almost hallucinogenic.
Maybe it's got something like cinnamon or something else in it to kind of give it a little bit of
a bite.
Yeah. Just a little.
Yeah, it's a secret formula though. They don't give it out. So we don't know exactly what's in it. And I think it's harvested the whole year round and then broken out here because it's kind of precious, and so it's only for the Day of Song. Day of Song, is that what it's called? Yeah, Day of Song. Yeah. And so yeah, Joe and Bob and Sam have already had quite too much about it, considering they're only about this big, each of them, It doesn't take much to get them going.
Oh, can I get anyone a glass? I'll come back with the few.
Yes, me too. Barnaby says, actually make it 3.
Go off. I'm sure there's not someone far away with great big casks of the stuff and little tiny glasses.
Little tiny glasses.
Little tiny tap in it.
When you bring it back to Gus, you find that it's not so much that he's planning a bender for himself, but he pours most of 2 of them into like a big bowl, and he sets that in front of Atlas, and then he takes a thimble of one and he puts that in front of the shrine of Zoe, the forgotten god that lives on Atlas's back, and he saves the third one for himself.
And Remi, I think after a few of those and watching some of the dancing, which is like, it seems like there's a combination here, and maybe depending on what like area of this festival you're in, of like there are some festival dances you can see they always do, like you're always the Macarena, but and then you can kind of like the wolves and the drinking song, get up and do your own thing. And Remi has a dance that he loves to do in a place like this, which is to dance with an unfamiliar place, to listen and befriend. So this is like something that he's been observing, what kind of dance steps people tend to do around here, and will harangue Gus and Barnaby and Quoth and ask them to come on up and start the thing. There's an empty wedding floor over here. We're gonna populate it with people, and he's looking out into the crowd as we're doing some like simple, very very simple, repeatable dance moves that you watch and catch on. And as people join from the crowd, will kind of watch what they're doing, and like listen to their dance vibe, and so like there's snakes, and the song kind of gets a little wiggly. And,
after you overcome Gus's protestations once again, the donkeys don't dance, and you finally break through to the other side. He's had enough of the mead or whatever to get over his inhibitions. He reveals a traditional donkey dance, which I'm envisioning is a bit like that.
A lot of back kicks.
Well, yeah, or I was thinking of like, oh gosh, I remember that sort of like Russian folk dancing where you kind of squat and kick out.
Yeah, I was thinking Cossack, Cossack dancing.
Yeah, Cossack dancing, exactly. That turns out that's the specialty. Lots of kicks. Yep.
Yeah, and Quoth likewise, I think, engages in the dancing with probably more enthusiasm than talent, but it's clear that he's enjoying himself, certainly, as he dances.
Yeah, I can imagine Barnaby like swinging a mole around and around and around and around till they both fall apart dizzy, and fall to the ground laughing.
The hermit crab folk have some impressive like sort of formation style dancing, almost like line dancing, like 4 of them in a little square, will kind of do a cool
claws up.
Side to side, in and out. Yeah. If I'm interpreting that right, Brandon.
Yeah, like a little, like a waltzy kind of, like a British dancing party kind of thing.
Yeah, that's cool too. Yeah, totally. Where they like put their like, claws up and do like little
trade partners.
Yeah.
There's like a troop of them that has those like stained glass or blown glass shells that they're wearing. They're like party shells, and they turn around and clink loudly and audibly as part of the dance on the beat.
2 crabs do a sort of like a dance that's slightly risque, where partway through they swap shells.
Wow.
Yeah.
but you never see anything that you shouldn't.
Yeah, it's done very artfully and quickly. Yeah, so it's just sort of a pinkish blur for a moment. Yeah.
And I can imagine the firelight glistens off all that glass in their shells in a way that's really
Like through
hypnotic
it.
and scintillating. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is a fun festival.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the swimming happens at midnight, so we haven't gotten there just yet, though. Although Barnaby is looking forward to it.
Yeah, I was just thinking as well. I'm kind of imagining the moles in some kind of like Busby Berkeley top hat and cane.
Yeah, because everyone has to have an act, right? Because
Yeah.
there's amateur talent going on, right?
Exactly.
And that's how some of the like recruiting happens for the later talent show. If you haven't been here for a while, it's like there's people who see someone up there on the stage. You've got an act. Get discovered. Maybe like I'm imagining now like a snake kind of coiling up like Ka, like a over the shoulder like Ka in the Jungle Book animated, and being like, you've got talent, and is, trying to like make a buck off of your winning the talent show. Just like kind of I'm gonna introduce you. I'm gonna make you big.
Awesome. Cool. We'll just hit 10 past. I think we'll call a quick break here. If we come back at if we call it quarter past, and then we'll pick up again there.
All right. Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Awesome. So yeah. I think we're as we're all enjoying the dancing. I'm wondering if there's anything specific anyone wants to get up to while we're here. Does anyone have sort of a goal in mind, whatever that may be?
I'm looking over at the sort of place moves while I consider my answer.
Yeah, fair. I think Quoth is perhaps unsurprisingly going to dig more into the legend of the Heaven's Blade while he is here, as is his wont. But
I'm trying to think if Gus is aspiring to anything more than just having a very indulgent spa week, but I'm not getting much further than that in his mind.
That is cool.
I'm wondering if there's a place that is specifically where the Hallows are that Barnaby would like to go to and investigate and talk and meditate perhaps. He's very distracted right now by the festivities of the festival, however. But maybe later on into the night, when he tires of that, he might want to get closer to the watchful eyes.
I'm wondering, because we do have these like strange piles of stones
Yeah.
in the hillside. So I'm wondering if maybe there's like a cairn or a stone circle or something like that where the spirits can be contacted, sort of thing.
Right. Maybe something on top of a hill where it's thought that the sleeping god sleeps somewhere beneath the hill.
It is like described as a place in the foothills of a great looming presence. So that's like, there's if you're in the foothills, it's not, you don't have to go very long to go up. So it could be something in this, like, that wilderness of maybe like more craggy boulders, things like that, which makes sense with it being some, former kind of like military type thing. It's well protected by this craggy landscape on the inside. I think at some point, there's all this music going around. Remi would ask Gus, "You have is it a pan? No, that's me. What was the instrument that you got?"
A flute.
The flute. If you would like to play, he has a and I have not had occasion to bring this up until now, but I assume he would have been playing it, or maybe just wouldn't have thought to perform until now. It pulls out like a reed flute and proudly describes snatching it from the North Wind god himself, and would ask if you would play.
Like play with you as
With
well,
Remi.
accompany you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that at some point, and I guess ask you about. I don't know if we have discussed, you've just sort of mentioned, but Remi noticed that you were very kind of taken aback at seeing the flute and happy to get it back and curious about it.
Yeah. I think that Gus works his way into an answer there by starting with a bit of an advanced apology. I think I've had it long enough. I've had it back again now that I'm ready to use it again, but this will be the first time that my lips have touched it, and I've lost track of how many years. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I gave it away not expecting ever to see it again.
Sorry to hear that.
No, it was a gift.
So
But it was
came back to you. It seemed disappointed at
that is the sadder thing. That it found its way out of what I assumed would be its home. Is a story that perhaps I will learn someday. Though I don't know if the knowledge of whatever that story is will bring happiness or sadness to my heart. I don't know. But it has a home again.
Well, if we can make a pleasant tune with it, I suppose that would be all right. Yeah, I didn't really steal this from the Northwind god. I took this from home when I left home. It is a ceremonial flute that represents the Northwind god and asking for good weather, but not an actual thing from the Northwind god.
This one, Gus says as he kind of blows a few experimental notes, was carved by my father and given to me when I headed out on the road to make it big as a sales donkey.
This was carved by my father.
Well, then I think we'll have to sing some father's song. Do you know a good one?
Yeah, he'll play and start sort of dancing in place to a rhythmic work song, which is you would have heard and seen Remi playing, I think, idly, but not a song or style of song that you've heard Remi play before, and easy enough to follow along to and improvise. It's very kind of structured, but beautiful. And as the nature of this festival, I'm sure at some point kind of changes into something else. And like at a certain point, someone's like, "Oh, this is that's fine and all, but I want to play some rock and roll." And people are getting increasingly in their cups on the flower wine. But becomes more raucous at some point.
I think the wolves come back in with some song about gobbling up some kind of beetle or grub hole, and like, and it's a song about and then we chased them round and round and gobbled them up, and it kind of escalates in sort of a not quite 99 bottles of beer on the wall way, but it's one of those songs that every revolution adds another thing to the chorus, and then the chorus just gets longer and longer.
Yeah, one of them's got an accordion now. Going along.
Does Remi keep playing on the flute? Does he join in the new song?
At the beginning, when it's more music, and then it's like turns into drinking song again. That's a little, and I think by that point it's been a few minutes and he's like satisfied, and steps off the stage. And if Gus is stepping off also, we'll thank Gus for playing.
Oh, were we performing at the talent show? I missed that context.
No, we were just on like one of the stages.
Okay. It could retroactively be the talent show.
I mean,
I think it's just
like,
one long talent show, right?
Like
everyone gets up on it's open mic.
Yeah.
I like that. Like, there's just a lot of different stages, and I think we don't understand them necessarily that well. It doesn't seem like there is much of a qualification, at least on this particular stage, of what there's going to be. It might be like like a music festival. There's main stages, and then there's side stages where it could be any crazy thing. But there, everything seems to be so yeah, not like a crowd of people, I imagine, but just like the same festival atmosphere where there's a few people watching, filtering in and out drinks, and I don't know what else they do at this festival. Some of them dripping wet. Where are they swimming? Is there like a lake nearby to this? I guess because we're in the foothills, so it's in the like near valley.
I was thinking about this. Yeah, hot springs, and then the other thing I was thinking about before that too is I think one of the big swimming holes is like maybe there's a big vat of water that's kept as sort of a like emergency if the fire of the furnace get out of control. We have this big vat, and it's also where they draw the water from to like quench swords back in the day and whatnot. But that when it gets turned into a swimming hole at midnight, they have some of the sturdier creatures haul big rocks that they heat up in the furnace, and they plonk them into the vat to get it heated up and steaming.
Nice. There's like a hot tub.
Hot tub.
Yeah.
Basically.
And I think between their sets, the three wolves, Barnaby gets up his courage and he goes over to them and he starts talking them up. And he pulls out his sheep cigarettes that he got from Gus a while back. And he's been practicing. Quoth has been teaching him how to blow the rings. And so he's sharing his sheep cigarettes with the wolves and trying his best to impress them with these little blown smoke rings. He's still learning. He's still learning. But everyone's getting into a very good mood, so they don't really care whether the rings are perfect or not.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think while this is going on, Quoth is chatting with a few crabs who all have kind of like really ornately decorated shells, and he is kind of quizzing them a bit about the legends of the Heaven's Blade, and I think mostly what they're sharing at the minute is just kind of like tall tales and local legends rather than kind of the true story of it. But I think he's still kind of getting into it and jotting down notes and swapping stories with them.
I feel like people, too, it might be a little hard to get someone, especially at this hour. You have to ask like a lot of different people, about the swords. People are like, I don't want to talk about swords right now. It's dancing time. This place where they're like about the historical reenactments and stuff. And, eventually you're sure to find some individual who will talk. And maybe even like a visiting blacksmith's apprentice. Is that, I think we have described in there like a imaginative apprentice still learning the craft. I think it'd be a glassblower's apprentice at this forge specifically, but like there's maybe even here, there's someone who's like finds interest in the craft of making the swords and has that interest in history about it. Perhaps they can also blow glass. It's like very multi-talented apprentice, but who will talk to you about the origin of the Heaven's Blade.
Awesome. Sorry, I was just double checking. Yeah, and I think actually I'm going to spend a token on connecting with this apprentice, who I think sorry, I'm getting lost between tabs again. Yes, because we did have the apprentice Kith established as part of the initial setup. So I think that the two of us, and I think I'm going to call her I'll go with Vesper, the apprentice, and she and I think the two of us kind of get into a long discussion because I think we both have kind of similar views on on the world and kind of learning from the past and using what we've learned to create something new and that sort of thing. So I think we kind of spend an hour or so and probably a couple of cups of honeysuckle mead chatting about our various works and the work we admire and all that sort of thing, even though we're in kind of disparate fields. I think there's that moment of like recognizing the ambition that we both have.
She's like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead first.
Oh, I was just gonna say she's like showing you her sketchbook of designs of weapons and studies of historical ones. She's got like some sketches of the sword that you're looking at.
Yeah, and I think I'll kind of flick through some of my notes as well and find some of the sketches that I've drawn of what I've from sort of the research I've done on the Heaven's Blade and some of the ideas that I think it might look like if you believe Ranulph the Wise's treatise on it as opposed to whoever else. And
I'm gonna spend a token. I think this is a good and makes sense as a way to do it. Spend a token to tell the table something important about the place you're in. This is kind of oblique. It's more about some of the folklore of the place we're in, but that Vesper reveals a connection that maybe was unknown to you. Gosh, I can't find the right tab to edit. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
accidentally editing the wrong stuff. That Vesper tells you that both the legends of the Heaven Blade and its construction, that folklore, and the fallen star and the story she told are connected and are part of the same story, and that a star fell to Earth and told those who found it what they must do with her, which was to forge her into a certain shape, and told the people at the furnace all the things that this sword must do, and that the Heaven's Blade indeed did come from the heavens.
Awesome. That's really cool.
And the most perhaps unsettling, maybe, I don't know, unsettling, I don't want to decide how Quoth feels about it, but maybe startling is that part of the story that the star told is that this would all be written down after the fact and turned into a great ballad many years in the future.
Yeah, and I think that does probably, like I said, I think startling is probably a good way of putting it. It certainly brings it home to Quoth the kind of the scale of the work that he's embarking on, I think.
And Vesper, the last thing that she has is she gives to you, there's a little bit of iron left to make ink with, that she gives to Quoth. And it's said that this iron is from that star, although it's been so long that this iron hasn't talked in a very long time, hasn't spoken in a long time, but perhaps with you, it will speak again.
Thank you, Vesper. That's most generous of you. I don't think I have anything so precious I can give you in return, but I will ensure you are included as part of this story. Not that that is a great honor or the like. I have no misconceptions about the value of my work, but I will ensure that your part in it is remembered.
And she kind of smiles like in a kind way to try to sort of like reassure Quoth, and says, "Oh, much like the star that fell, I think your work will speak for itself to its quality."
Thank you. Thank you.
I like the idea of that being like meteorite iron, like from the fallen, from celestial body. If you're out in the fields or woods near this area, you find a chunk of that. It's like it's the from the celestial. Forget. I'm blanking on the name. Yeah. Yes, the fallen star. This is the remnants.
Oh yeah, if it wasn't being clear what I was implying, yeah, definitely meteorite, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I love it.
Yeah, and I'm imagining that this place, for some reason, I don't know why, wouldn't make any sense in the real world, but we're not in the real world. When you look at the skies, you can see a lot of shooting stars all the time. And that's one of the magical aspects of this place, is that there's a lot of stars falling to Earth, and sometimes they fall as stars, and I think sometimes they fall as dreams into the minds of the forgotten, the 15 sleeping gods. And sometimes they make their way through other beings that come to the Hallow to sleep with the gods.
I think there's tales too that the watchful eyes in the shadows here are much like the watchful eyes in the night skies above. There's lots of understood thematic connections between the two.
Yeah, I know we asked before whether the watchful eyes are kind of threatening or benign, and I think they kind of have this kind of like deep neutrality of like witnessing everything and taking everything in without judgment or intention or agenda, other than to witness. When does everyone go swimming? I can imagine, so I'll just speak for Barnaby, because Barnaby's probably more eager to go swimming than everybody else is, because he enjoys it a lot. So as it does get closer to midnight, I can imagine Barnaby heading up to the to where the hot springs are, and there are pools, I imagine, there. And there's mist on the water, and maybe he's brought a couple of people that he's met. Maybe one of the wolves came with him, and the mole he was dancing with, and they showed him the path up to the hot springs. And I imagine the hot springs, these hot springs are right next to wherever or are part of the Hallow. I'm going to say that they're part of the Hallow. So they're part of the magic of the Hallow. And I think maybe they've gotten there a little early because of Barnaby's eagerness. So there are not a lot of people there just yet. So it's relatively quiet compared to the tumult down below with the fires and the singing and the dancing that's still continuing on. Yeah, and I imagine a big sky with a lot of stars, and And from the darkness around the pools, seeing the watchful eyes as everybody jumps into the pools to soak. I don't think you swim a lot in hot pools because you get overheated, I'm sure. At least I get overheated if I try to swim in a hot pool. Depends on how hot they are.
It's like little faces in the mist, with the kind of like little small forgotten wisps of steam coming off the hot springs. So like presence.
Gus was very intrigued by an option that the snakes offer, a specialty that they prefer, which is they've built a sauna here at the hot springs to enjoy both hot rocks and the water poured over and the steam. And Gus joins to have that experience that he's never had before. It's new to him.
Yeah, reptiles do like a hot rock, don't they?
And I think this sort of at this point that an old magpie dressed in sort of priestly robes comes up and crouches down at the side of the pool near you, Barnaby, and says, "So tell me, young one, what has brought you here to us today?"
And Barnaby slips up out of the water and onto the edge of the pool next to the old priest. And he's a little bit in awe of the old magpie priest. But he says, I am a humble caretaker, and I have been trained to care for the small gods in my care. But I've heard tales of the holiness of this place, and I have felt drawn to come here to partake in this place between the worlds, where the gods and the mortals move more freely. I don't know why I'm drawn here, but on the road here I had a dream. I know the gods here collect dreams, but I did not dream this here. I dreamed it on the road here, and perhaps you can interpret it for me. In the dream, I was swimming in water, but not like this water, clear blue water. And I was diving deep, and I panicked for a moment because I realized my gods were not with me. All the ones that are in my care were not with me and could not go as deep as I was going. And I looked about, and they were all gone. And I woke with a start, with fear in my heart that I had forsaken my duties and lost the small gods in my care.
I see. Most interesting. As you say, the gods here have a particular interest in the dreams of those that visit. I think there is uncertainty in you, young one, as to whether you can fulfill your duties, caring for those spirits you carry with you, or if you can, or if you will be distracted by the world and its many, many temptations. But know this: the spirits appreciate our devotion and that which we do for them. But all spirits are spirits of the way we live, the parts of us, that which we hold important as well. And so you cannot fully separate yourself from the world without also separating yourself from the spirits. Not until you are as old and decrepit as I can you truly devote yourself fully to their care. But in the meantime, anything you do will be greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Master. I think you are correct. I do have uncertainty in my heart. I try my best, but sometimes it feels my wards lead me around more than I lead them. And maybe that's the way it should be at my age, since I am young and inexperienced.
Of course, you will in time build your own balance with those spirits. But in the meantime, it is not a bad idea sometimes to lead where they follow and sometimes to bring them to heel, especially those sapling spirits. They're always trouble.
They are a handful. Master, I'll do my utmost. And I think Barnaby pulls out one of his spirits, which is the mossy boulder, who wants to come out and sit on the edge of the pool and just take in the mist and the warmth. And then Barnaby just goes quiet and sits next to, I think Woad's his name, Woad, the mossy boulder, and just kind of is quiet there with him for a while after all the raucousness and taking in the words of the caretaker.
Yeah, and I think the caretaker will sit down on the edge of the pool as well and just kind of dangle his feet into the water.
Little magpie feet.
Yeah.
I can imagine Barnaby just stroking the moss on Woad's back idly as they sit looking at the pools.
I think Remi comes looking for water, not too long after Barnaby leaves, and but took him quite a while to actually get there. And dances in a little bit energetically from whatever vibe was going on immediately before he found Barnaby, to seeing the scene a little more reflective. Is like doesn't stop dancing but just changes the dance to be a little bit more of that feeling, and will join quietly, also standing in the pool, same legs thing. Gus, is Atlas coming around with you at this this festival, or do you find out, or does he get sleepy eventually?
Well, I mean, when you say coming around, I guess, how do you mean?
I mean, like kind of going from place to place
Mhm.
in this area. Like, are Atlas is having some wine too. Um, are you bringing Atlas with you everywhere? We kind of go around, or I'm just
I think that
curious.
I've unladen Atlas as much as possible and like packed everything up into trunks and whatnot to and let him know, like, you can roam where you want, buddy. You can go explore the countryside. You can do what you like. And I think that Gus is trying to he keeps finding Atlas defaulting to following around Gus as he's perhaps, used to by habit, and keeps encouraging him, like, oh buddy, you can do whatever you want. You can go check that place out. You can go, sleep over there, anything you want, bud. But periodically, Atlas will go check something out and maybe disappear for 20-30 minutes, but then inevitably he'll sort of like reappear wherever Gus is at currently. Yeah.
Big ponderous bumbly dog.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
You see it like
Yeah, and
running towards you. It's like
he keeps getting caught in doorways. He doesn't quite realize his titanic size, and I keep having to sort of, managing him through the backing up process, and maybe seeing if I can find some sort of, bigger door or something.
Yeah, and I think after a little while, um, Quoth will make his way to the hot springs as well. I think he's he's sort of acquired another drink, maybe a longer drink, maybe just a cool ale or something like that. He's got in a mug, and he'll sink into the water next to the others, and say, "Well, how's everyone been finding the festival? It's a most lively affair, isn't it? I've met so many lovely people here, and all the dancing and such like, and the water in these pools is simply divine. It's yes, and he'll take a long sip of his drink.
This is a very fine place, Gus says. This is a paradise on the road. I wonder what changes in the times when the festival ends, and day-to-day life resumes here. This place is so relaxed and unhurried that I struggle to imagine it in any other mode.
I think from what I've learnt from the others here, this is a place of great industry. So amongst these celebrations and things like it, it is a place where there's much activity and much everyone is busy from what I can tell. Though I do hope that people still get the time to take moments like these.
I think the little mole who's like still swimming on his back, like through the water, says, "You folks have come at a very special day on the day of song. This is not our normal way of being. This is a festival. Your friend is right. Your friend the rook. We are very industrious and hardworking during other parts of the year, but this is a special night, isn't it? We get to sing and dance and dream under the stars and take swims whenever we want to. And he grabs some water in his mouth and makes a little spout out of his mouth, spits up a little into the air.
You seem to have crowd favorite dancers and acts that are well practiced. Do you have some other times during the year when you're practicing dancing or singing, or do you merely just sing while you work?
I think in the winter when we were I can only speak for moles, but in the winter when we are in our burrows, there's lots of time to kill when we can't be outside as much. And in the nights, we secretly practice our talents and our songs and dances for when the festivals come during this time of the year.
So people can't copy your moves.
Yes, they're secret. And part of the drama of performance, as you no doubt know, is surprising your audience. We wouldn't want them to know about our dance moves ahead of time. Where would be the fun in that? And he crawls out of the pool and shakes his bristly fur out and looks back and says, "Well, continue to enjoy the night, visitors. There's much more to be had." And he wobbles off down the path back towards the fires. So is everyone in the water now? Yeah. Go ahead.
I think so.
Gus. We're all swimming.
I was just going to ask if anyone had any notion of what it sounds like one of the natures of the hillock is potentially that there's perhaps a looming thing that may not be a literal mountain. And I was wondering if anyone had a sense of like what looms over this place that otherwise seems, serene in a social way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the ways the question is asked, or one of the questions that's asked about the hillock, is what do we stand in the shadows of?
Mm-hmm.
Or, I think so. It talks about was that one of Great Piles of Stones was one of our aesthetic elements from the hillock. And so I'm imagining that these great piles of stones are kind of maybe ruined temples of some sort, or ruined buildings of some ancient stone buildings that have crumbled. And yeah, and I imagine the pool is kind of almost like a quarry kind of situation where maybe they were dug out at some point to build some of these temples that are up maybe above, maybe even a column or two that are still standing. So we're in the shadows of that, but I don't know who those temples were to, or what they signify.
As you were talking to, I got an image of maybe another thing that some of these piles. I'll see if this will load. Yeah, here we go. That maybe too, we were talking about how this place used to be involved in like making military weapons, that maybe I was just reminded of like some of the the countryside in like Breath of the Wild, where there are these like stone war machines that are all like ruined and just kind of turned into like natural features of the landscape, half overgrown with like grass. And maybe that's one thing that kind of like dots the craggy landscape, is occasionally you'll be exploring what seems like a tumble of stones, or old unworked metal, but it's some sort of remnant of an ancient conflict. That maybe that's how scattered fragments of quote unquote civilization that appear here, that are dotting the landscape.
Yeah, I think also so like some of the weapons, like the insignias you might see, or makers or like make of it, are like the same as Tal's sword, which I think was only shown like out, I don't remember who that was shown to. It was only kind of taken out that once, if I remember, if at all. But anyway, we can recognize at least the guard.
Oh, and the scabbard. I
as-
remember the pattern, right? Yeah.
Yeah, of the same, the queen's militia.
I wonder if they were gods of war, or that this temple was made to, and when the furnace was, for producing weapons. And those are the 15 gods that are asleep now. And so they've transformed over the ages from gods of war to this more sleepy, bucolic existence that they embody now.
And maybe it's said that when they are troubled by nightmares, that is when times of war break out on the surface.
So that's the shadow that looms over this place, is the history of war and their role in the war.
Yeah, I really like that. That was similar to sort of what I've been thinking as well. But I really like the way you kind of framed that up. It's and I like the idea of the kind of the slumbering gods being linked in with all of that. That's really cool.
You can use it in your book.
Yeah, I was thinking this is maybe we kind of have a moment where sort of Quoth gets out of the pool for a moment and retrieves one of his notepads from his cloak, and is just kind of like staring up at these like big monolithic stone structures around, kind of illuminated by the firelight, and just make some notes about the kind of the weight of history and so on in his notes. Cool. Back around to about 10 past again. So I think if we take another quick break, about 1:15, come back, and then we'll carry on from there. Awesome. As we move into our final hour, or probably slightly less than an hour, but I was wondering if there are any specific scenes or moments that people want to angle towards in particular, Remi, if there's anything you want to see from you this session. But yeah, what are people's thoughts?
I think, yeah, probably like to talk, with the group about, where we might be going after this. I haven't figured yet, where exactly Remy. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. I lied. I did think about this. Remy will share that he is going to go home for a little while. That nothing really could compare to life traveling with friendly folk, but needs to go back home to return that reed flute, because it is definitely missed. It was kind of a taboo thing to just take and leave. So I'm gonna have to eat crow, pun not intended. uh, but yeah, I'll be sorry not to travel with you, but it's been lovely fun, and very nice getting to meet.
What's like, as Remy considers, going back to face the music, so to speak, again, pun not intended, with stealing the flute, like what is Remy's sense of, like, or his emotional, what are his feelings as he considers doing that?
You can see he looks just kind of smaller and has the shadow of going back to something that makes him feel smaller, and but is a little bit resigned, I guess, almost, in a way of like, there's normally a stronger veneer, or just regular, not facade of just being able to be happy, and is, I think, almost in a, Remy's young, so in a bit of a childish way of like I like really just want to get back to being on the road. This is a definitely the right decision, but like I really have to go do this.
And Gus asks, some more questions. He's just curious now about what all happened. It's like, so when you took the flute with you, was that what prompted you to head out on the road and to get away from that, or was it you'd already set your mind to leaving and you took it to keep you company?
It was. I had been somewhat thinking about it, but I really wasn't prepared at all. To be honest, I'm going to have to give some of this jewelry back as well. Yeah, my mother, I'm sure, doesn't miss it too terribly, but it was on a. I did sell some of it to fund this expedition, but I'm sure it'll be fun. I'm sure. But they're really going to care about the flute, which probably they carved another one. But what was the question?
Oh, I was just listening to your story, just put questions in my head, and I was wondering, if you had intended to always take the road and then brought the flute along with you, or if taking the flute and having it in your hands was what pushed you out the door of home.
Yes. That it was the latter. It was something that I was playing. It is an instrument that's supposed to be played one way, and I had gotten it in my head that it would sound beautiful, played with a different tune I had thought of, and well, it was, but somebody heard me playing it, and I was kind of caught with that. And frankly, it just really made me mad. And I, in a fit of frustration, kind of went and came in the middle of the night and took it. And then having it in my hand, just kind of ran away. So it's had enough happy songs. I think it can go back to being just for ceremony.
Mm.
How about you all? Do you have anywhere you're heading after this? Is kind of an interior crossroads. There's so many places you could go.
Oh, I suppose I'll have to get back to work again. Someplace where you can swap goods for other goods. I don't know. It's been a relief not to think about it while we've been here, to be honest. But all things must come to an end, I suppose. Business never sleeps.
I have a number of places I'm hoping to get a chance to go to. I'm not sure which would make the most sense to go to after we've been here. There's well, as I say, all sorts of places. I hope to document and to learn more about and gather the stories and the like from them. Various stops on the journey of the nameless hero, and well, other things besides. I shall see where becomes the most convenient place to get to next on my list.
And Barnaby comes up to Remi and I think his eyes are a little watering, and he's saying, I am going to miss you. Everyone comes and goes so quickly on the road. I've only just come back to be with you, and now you are leaving. Will you have a dance with me? One last dance, Remi? Will you lead me in a dance of till we see each other again? Since you will be returning to the road.
Of course, and I will dance a dance with friends to celebrate life and all it gives us.
So Barnaby puts out his little paw.
And I think
like a large wing.
Gus is gonna set up a contraption that, you know, he tries to do it quietly so it's not distracting, but it's something you've never seen him pull out before. But he encourages you to keep dancing, keep dancing. If you don't keep dancing, then what I'm doing won't make any sense. As you're dancing, at one particular point, there's suddenly a big like whoomp and flash of flame, and you're not exactly sure what Gus has just done. But eventually, at some point, I don't know how long the process actually takes, Gus produces what I'm going to consider a miracle that no one else could offer, which is a tintype photograph of the two of you dancing together. And it's a very sort of old-timey looking black and white photo.
And I imagine we're on the side of the pool still. We're out of the pools, but we're dancing, and our feet are wet and making kind of wet spots on the flat rocks as we dance this dance where we come together and then we come apart and far apart, and then we come together again, just to symbolize the fact that we're travelers and that no goodbye is forever, and that we will see each other, if not in this life, then in the next.
You can see in the mists behind there's the pool is kind of lit so that we're a little backlit, and there's smiling faces in some of the mists around the pool.
Watchers.
Yeah, and I think Quoth is going to kind of look at the photograph admiring and say, "Oh, that's most most wonderful, Gus." And I confess, I wish there was some way I could truly capture the grace and perfection of Remi's dancing. My words, I fear, are far too clumsy to fully encapsulate the wonder of their performance, and no simple sketch could truly encapture it. But this image you have taken is, if not a perfect representation of it, at least a perfect moment of it. Most impressive.
Thank you, Quoth. But I have to confess that I only see this thing's limitations as well. As you said, it's only a moment, but the dance lives in all the moments strung together, and that's where your words sing, Quoth. You can capture that in a way this never could. Perhaps together they'll summon something that was like what it was to be here now in the days to come.
And I've seen some of your sketches of me dancing. There, something doesn't have to be what is to be true. You capture the soul of it, almost better than this could. Love it as much as I do.
At most, I hope this is only, and he holds up the photograph, just a spur to memory.
I will treasure it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
I said I will treasure it.
Hmm.
I imagine there's like two.
Yeah.
Always the duplicate when you get it back from the.
Mhm. For whatever reason, Gus doesn't totally understand the process. So he has one that's the negative of the two, and then one. And so he says, I don't know which of you will want this one.
I like that. That's fun.
Makes you look both a bit like ghosts. Ooh.
And the mists are dark and spooky.
Mm.
There's like some different faces, slightly changed expressions in the negative. Because this is little small and forgotten God ghost. Something just.
I think one last thing Gus will do away from everyone at some point during the night is he's going to write a note to Remi that he wraps around the flute that Gus's father made, and he slips it into Remi's bags and says, "This will be a flute that you can keep for yourself, no matter how it goes when you get back home and get back the one you took. This will be a flute you can keep to play the happy songs."
Remi, a little teary-eyed, from all this, especially, kind of test it out a little bit, and thank you profusely.
Oh, perhaps you thank me
He's
profusely for
stashing
the
him.
photo. I'm hiding it so that it's a secret.
He's
to
hiding
find
it
on
so
the
you won't
road.
find on the road home.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I
We'll just say that what just happened is for the photo.
Yes. That. Well, Remi will get teary for sure. In the letter that you get back, thanking you, will have some like watermarks on it.
And I think when Barnaby pulls out his photo later on, he'll notice that when he looks at it anyways, he doesn't know if it happens to other people. It's almost like he can see Remi and him actually dancing in the photo, as if they're moving, like some magic from that hallowed place was imbued into the photograph that allows him to see the dance itself, or an echo of the dance.
Yeah, and I think there will be a as I think perhaps as things start to wind down a bit, Quoth is just going to sit down and write a very kind of free flowing poem inspired by Remi's dancing and the evening in general, that he commits to one of his notebooks.
I can see there the camera kind of pulling out. It's almost early morning, getting close to dawn, and everything is kind of settling down, and the fires are a little bit less, and you know, we see each of us. We see Atlas curling up into a little bug ball somewhere under a tree, going to sleep, and yeah, and I just imagine everything winding down, if that works for folks.
When the pools have finally emptied out a little bit late at night, Gus coaxes Zoe, the forgotten god, into a little bottle, and then he sets the bottle to float in the hot springs so that you know, he can sort of bask in it as well.
Yeah, I think Barnaby ends up falling asleep in the lap of one of those drunk wolves. He always liked sleeping next to Tal, and now he'll just sleep next to the wolf, this wolf instead.
So Remi's playing kind of like a lullaby-ish tune on their nope, not, it's for me to on the panpipe. Yep. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, and I think as he's playing, Quoth is sort of doing that thing where he's like, yeah, you know, leaning back against a rock, trying to stay awake, but his head just keeps nodding forwards as he drifts off to sleep.
It's like in the middle of rolling a cigarette. Kind of looks like a little bit.
Yeah.
Falls asleep without smoking yet.
Yeah, he's probably got like a you know, an unlit cigarette just hanging out the corner of his beak as he.
Gus, he's drunk enough at this point of the night that he's almost half falling asleep, and he's the task that he sets himself as he's sort of like half falling asleep, just sort of in the open air, is he's trying to roll a cigar big enough for Atlas to smoke and get it to work. But he keeps kind of nodding off halfway through the project. He doesn't ever really get there.
Awesome. Well, I think unless anyone has any last moments they want to narrate, I think that's probably where we will leave things for this evening. Yeah, so thank you very much, everyone. That's been a really lovely session. I'm going to end our recording now.